Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. And today's video we are going to talk about how you can actually use your custom code, like for example, custom action inside a custom widget. So if you want, for example, to have a custom widget and you want to control this custom widget from a custom action, this is the video that you're going to watch today and the tutorial. So if you actually go to my YouTube channel, there is a video, for example, that I did. So if someone asks me why should I use that, when should I use that, and why should I use that in general? So, for example, if you have a camera, let's say you have a camera widget and you want to take a camera. So in theory, you can have a camera widget like in a custom widget, but let's say for some reason that you want to actually separate the button that it's click in order to take a picture or take a video. And in theory, I actually did exactly that in this particular video. I actually tried to separate the action from the widget in order to, for example, take a picture when the camera is open and when the page is visited, because you can also do that on page load, for example. So if you haven't watched this video, probably it will be useful as well to watch it. Another thing that I want to actually let you know is that I actually talked about this in my in my live video. Sorry, and this is actually FlutterFlow quests, and is the episode number 3, which it's the name of the episode is use custom action in custom widget. So actually, there is the something that I wanted to tell you is that you cannot. My research actually end up saying that, and this video that I just told you about the live version, I actually did. If you want to see how I did it, you can watch this video, the live version of the video that I was trying and building it, and then I end up with this tutorial. And then what I want to say first is that I try to actually use a custom widget inside a custom action. So I try to have a custom widget and then, for example, use the custom widget inside a custom action. But unfortunately, at least for me, that did not work. If you actually make it work, if you, for example, I can just give you a quick example. I have this QR code, which, if you want to actually know more about that, I recently did a video about the QR code, which is not yet released, but it will be released by the time you're watching this video. And it's called download any widget to an image. And if you haven't watched that video, you can watch it as well, because there is a lot of context about the code that you're going to see today. But what I wanted to say is that, for example, if I want, for example, to run this method inside a custom action, you cannot actually do it. At least I was not able to do it. I was struggling for that like 1 hour or something like that, but I don't think it's possible because because for some reason it was not working. For some reason, I was able to access from the action, from the custom action, I was able to access the custom widget, which is this one. But then I was not able to access, and I was able to access also the data, which is the variables. I was able to access the variables as well and pass the variables, but I was not able to access the methods, which in this case, for example, is this one: update capture captured image. And I know that if you are experienced FlutterFlow if you are experienced Flutter developer, you actually say that the underscore before that, this means that it's a private method. This is actually not limiting me from using it. This, I think, it's only for cosmetic purposes. But nevertheless, I tried with or without it, or I tried like everything that I can think of, but still it was not working. So If you ask me, you cannot actually use custom widget inside a custom action, but you can actually use the vice versa. You can actually use a custom action inside a custom widget. And we are going to talk exactly about that in this tutorial. So let's jump into the video. And before I show you the code, I just want to show you how this exactly works. And in my case right now, I have a QR code which is loaded when the page loads. And of course, and then I have a counter value. So those are two separate widgets. I just want to show you in one page, and I want to build two pages for that. But the counter the counter value, it's actually a widget. This is a custom widget, and this I have a normal button. And underneath, I have a normal button which says add one to the counter. So when I press it, it will actually, you can actually, so that it will actually add one to the counter. And this, like I said, is a custom widget. And this is a custom action which is bound, which is added or attached to the button. Like this is a normal button in FlutterFlow, and when I press it, the custom action will execute inside the custom widget. And another thing that I wanted to show you, which I probably cannot show you right now, but I'll try, it's that the QR code, you can actually download it using this FAP button. It's floating action button. And when I press on it, it is actually downloading the QR code. But you cannot see this right now, but I can try to show you, because if I go to assets, which I think it's this button over here, and then I'll delete this one because this was for testing purposes, and then I'll upload another. I will actually try to upload the QR code that it was just downloaded, and you can actually see the time and the date the QR code was what was downloaded, and it is actually this QR code. It's the same QR code. And the current limitation of the type that I did of this current demo is that if you change the QR code and then try to download it with a FAT button, the floating action button, it will actually download the old version of it. It will not download the new version from it. But this can be changed. Actually, this you can change the code, or you can change the logic from it, and I think easily this can be overcome. Right now, I'm using, for example, a custom, a local page, so a page state, but you can actually use an app state. And if you are using an app state, it will constantly update it, so you will not have that issue in theory. But I'll leave that to you, and let's actually jump to the code and explain you how the code is actually working. Okay, so I have only two custom widgets and two custom actions. And I have two because one of them, it's an easy one, an easy code that you can try for yourself. And then the other one, it's a little bit more complex that you can also, of course, try. So let's begin actually with the easy one. And let's begin with the custom action, actually, because the custom action will be a very simple custom action, and the only thing that this custom action is actually doing, it is actually only updating the value when pressed. So when pressed or when executed or whatever, it is actually only the only thing that it's doing is increasing the number, and this number, it's actually coming from the app state. So if I go to app state, you can actually see that I have this number, and it's 99 by default. So when the page first loads, it is actually 99. And then when this action is executed, it will increase to 1, and it will go to 100, and then 101, and so on and so forth. Great. So this is the action. Like I said, very simple action. You need to have this FFApp state update in order to update and update the build as well, and update the number or the variable that you have. In my case, it's number. Great. And then let's move to the custom widget, which is a little bit more complex, but not that complex, to be honest. So the first things first, the custom widget, it's called custom counter widget. This is the name of the custom widget. Again, I will actually say that this code will be available in my GitHub repo, so I'll make sure to actually write it in the description below. And first things that you probably notice already is that it is actually giving me an error when I try to use the custom action, but inside the custom widget. But you can actually easily overcome this. This is actually a FlutterFlow. I think it is actually a FlutterFlow bug, because when I hide the settings, when I click on hide settings, then the code analyzer will analyze the code again, and I don't have this error anymore. And it's currently working, because when I hover it with my mouse, you can actually see that this action is coming. It's coming actually from from custom actions in widget, and then custom code, and then actions, and then add to number. So this is actually coming from this import. And the import is very easy. You just write import. I'll just show you. So just write import, and then write two dots slash, and then you can import actions or widgets. We are already in the widget, so I want to import an action in my case. So I put action, and then if I click Control Space, I'll actually see all the custom actions that I can import. If you want to import all the custom actions, you can actually import the index.dart. That will actually import all the custom actions. But in my particular case, I just want to import this add to number.dart, which is this custom action over here. And then, because I'm actually importing a source code of FlutterFlow, just don't forget to actually click on exclude from compilation, because if you don't do that, the code will actually not work. It will work, but it will actually not compile, and you get errors. So to avoid those things, just when you have two dots here, when you always see two dots here in front of the import, you always have to exclude from compilation. Just remember this hint from me. And then when you have this custom widget, name it like that, you can click on the boilerplate, you can add the boilerplate, and then you can add those couple of lines of code. So the first line is that you have this increment counter. So the increment counter will actually call the custom action. So when it's pressed, it will actually call the custom action. And then we have the number, which is the number should be. So we have this counter value, and then the number, it's actually over here when it says text, and this is the actual number. And this is because this is a number and this is an integer. I'm actually converting it to string, because if I don't convert it to string, it will actually complain that this is not a string. And this is actually all to it with the custom one. Let's move actually to the little bit more complex one, and let's explain you what I did with it. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more complex one, which is, like I said, it will be the downloading, in my case, the QR code from another button. In my case, it's a floating action button, but it could be anything. Like it could be, like I said, when the page loads, it could be downloaded automatically if you use the same action in the onload action, for example. So the first things that we have is we have this map, which I, to be honest, don't think we needed, so actually delete it. And we have the convert, and the convert one, I think we need it. Yeah, exactly. So when I command it, I actually see that I need it. So you need a convert, which is actually coming from the Dart libraries itself, so you don't have to import or something like that. And then you have the download. So the download is actually a package coming from FlutterFlow. Sorry, not FlutterFlow, but Flutter, of course. And then we don't need the screenshot. And then we have this download, and I put it download and put it any. So I put any, actually, I don't put the number. And if you want to know more about that, why I'm putting that, you can actually watch this video. It says fixing failed running Flutter get, and you can watch this and actually know about my theory, why I'm going to use any from now on when I'm use any package out there. Great. And then the third import actually is I'm importing a custom action. So I'm actually importing a custom action inside a custom action. And I just want to show you that you can do that actually. And yes, you can. You can actually import a custom action inside a custom action, and then you can use it. So what is actually this doing? It is actually getting the image from the app state again, which it says widget to export. And this is actually coming from the app state. And actually this is a string, but this is actually a bytes. So I'm actually converting the string into bytes because I need to have it as bytes, but we cannot store bytes in app state. So that's why I'm converting the bytes first to string, and then I'm converting it back to bytes. And I'm converting that. I'm converting the bytes to string in the widget, and I'll show you that in a bit. And then great. And then we are actually naming that file that we want to name the image, and then we get in the stream, and then we're actually downloading the image using the download package. And the final thing that we're doing over here is that we are actually increasing the number. If you remember, we're actually increasing the number of the counter that we have. So every time we click to download the image, we are, or to the QR code, we're actually downloading the QR code and also increasing the number because we're calling the action, which will increase the number. So this is what we're doing over here. And then if I go to the custom widget, so the custom widget is actually using, of course, we're using the math one. So we're using the math, dart math, and then we're using the convert, which we both use, so we don't have to, we don't need to delete them. And then we have the QR code. So we have three packages: QR code. You don't need to import those. Like I said, when you see Dart at the beginning, you don't have to import them because there are Dart libraries. And then we have the packages, which are QR code, QR Flutter, screensaver, and then we have download. And like you see over here on the right, I just write the names of the packages and then write any as the number. So I don't even have to visit the packages because to get the number of the version, I don't need that, to be honest. And I'm pretty sure you don't need them. You don't need that as well. And then we have inside the custom widget, we actually have two packages. We have two actions. So we're importing the two actions. The two actions that we have, we're actually importing them. So because of that, don't forget to exclude from compilation. It's very important, like I said, because you get errors when you compile. Great. And then here, this is a code. I will not get inside this code much because this is actually how you create a QR code. And I have already talked about that in the video when I talked about downloading a widget to an image. So I don't want to get into details about that. If I scroll down, you can actually see here I am converting, because I promised you to tell you that. Here I'm converting this bytes. So I'm converting the bytes into a string. So this is what this code is doing. And then the last thing that I do is actually I'm adding one to the number again. So I'm actually calling the custom action to add one to the number. And this is actually I'm doing inside the init state. So inside the init state, I'm calling this update captured image, and I'm updating the bytes, and I'm updating the number as well. So that's why actually when you want to change the QR code and then you want to download it again, it will actually download the old code because I already have captured the bytes over here. But of course, you can change that. I mean, you can change that by passing the value to the not from the text field or the text field that you have inside the same page, but you can have another page and then pass the value as page parameter or something like that, and then it will be always updated. And there are some other tricks that you can do, which I'm not going to get into details right now, but this is one of it that will work for sure. Great. And then this is the actual custom. This is the actual QR code, which will be actually it will be actually downloaded to image. Great. And if you notice, actually, when the page is loaded, I'm adding one to the code. So let me actually go back to the demo and let me refresh again. And the default number should be 99. But when the code loads, it is actually, you can actually, I think you saw that, I hope you saw that, then the number actually changed to 100. And that's because let's me actually show you again. That's because of this line over here, line 68, and this is because it's loading over here. And there is another thing actually. When I press the FAB button, it will actually download the QR code, and also it will increase the number by one. This is the whole idea. So when I press it, you don't see the download. I see it, and it also it is increased by one. So this is actually how you can use custom actions inside custom widgets, and also custom actions inside custom actions. So you can actually chain a lot of custom actions inside the custom actions. So why you're going to use that? Well, there are some use cases, like I said at the beginning, that you want to use that. And I'll just leave it. If you have some use cases and that you are going to use that code or that logic, let me know actually in the comments, because there are actually people that want to know more about that as well and get inspired, of course. And like I said, like I always say, this code will be available in my GitHub repo. I'll share this code in my GitHub repo so you can get it from there. And yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you very much for watching. And before you go, actually, I just want to let you know that I set up a Discord channel, which will be for my 3,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for everyone who subscribed to the channel. The Discord channel will be officially announced when I reach the 3,000 subscribers. Uh, it is well structured. It will be well structured with the general tab, which you can see the info, the news, and we will have also click to talk. So you can actually talk to other members of the channel. And we have the YouTube videos as well, where you can see all the YouTube videos. You can also have, if you want to, if you want to request a video, you can go to video requests, and then we have the paid members from YouTube, which they have a separate channel where they can talk. I also have from the mentoring sessions, we have the paid members. And then it's structured by backend, FlutterFlow, API calls, Superbase, SQLite. And then you have the design, where you can ask design questions. We have the custom code, which is code expressions, custom functions, custom widgets, custom actions, and FlutterFlow source code. We can talk about the FlutterFlow source code as well, and we have integrations as well, pub dev packages, platforms, if you want to integrate different platforms. We have the general integrations. And then we have, you don't see it from my face, but we have also the settings. We have the dynamic links, we have the push notifications, we have the app settings, we have the Android deployment, we have the iOS deployment, and we have the web deployment. And the last thing that we have is actually we have the languages, and we have other languages. So we have like Swedish, for example, Spanish, Portuguese, and all other languages that people from those countries or those languages can talk in their own language. So yeah, like I said, thank you very much for all the subscribers. And before you go, I just want to say that the paid membership for YouTube is now open. so you can be a paid member to my YouTube channel, which means a lot. And thank you very much for all the people who are right now paid members to the channel.